Page 7, Minuet. 3/4 time, no sharps or flats. We're in the key of C major. Got some accidentals though, we'll deal with those. See, this is one of those pieces where you see a bunch of these eighth notes flying all over the place. You can either absolutely love it. If you've been doing scales, this is the kind of thing you look forward to, because all that practice in doing the scales pays off in this. It just comes. It just makes this kind of thing so much easier to play. If you haven't been doing the scales and you see this, you're thinking, oh, skip this one. I don't want to do this one. Too many notes. Well, I hope you're doing this. Do the C major scale. And I got a scale video on it. Go do it. 1 octave up and down. Just practice that C major scale. Let's take this one hand at a time. Make sure we get the notes and the fingering okay. In the right hand, we're up here. And there's no articulation in here. So we'll talk about that later. But here, we'll just connect everything. 1 and 2 and 3. How fast you go for this is up to you. Just make these crossover. Just make these all even. And then for measure 5, you got to reach up. It's an octave, and you're basically doing that again. Then you'd repeat that. However, let's go on to measure 9. Just come down his 5th finger. It's the same or similar pattern, except now we're lower. Third finger on the F sharp. Reach up again. It's rather repetitious, isn't it? Left hand, just quarter notes. Reach up. Just try and play this left hand all connected. Thumb. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So forth. Now when you go from the measure 8 to 9, you got to lift up with the left hand. You need a little finger again. I'm not crazy about it, but sometimes we have to do that. Then slowly put the hands together. Repeat that. The left hand has to come up again. But let's go on to measure 9. You're here. Now when you go to measure from measure 8 to measure 9, both hands are moving. But the right hand, you can scrunch up a little bit and be ready if you want, because that way you can focus more on the left hand. So it's that way it makes it a little easier. Otherwise you got to move both hands. That's hard to do, and they're going opposite directions and different distances. So I suggest scrunch up here and have the little finger ready to go, so you're ready to go. So forth. Now at the end here, the DC all fine means go back to the beginning and go to fine. So you're going to go up to here. So the left hand is fine. The right hand just reaches up an octave. And the fine is at the end of the second line where the repeat sign is, but don't repeat it again. Just play the first 2 lines again once, and that's good enough. Dynamic wise, that's for the right hand. Whatever you think sort of loud is, and then come down at the end of the line, the measure 4. Now it's soft, it's like an echo. Measure 9, then you're back up to the statement. And then measure 12, you come down. And then an echo. Okay. And then at the end, the last measure, you're going to... Well, that's a trick. Because the right hand can't crescendo. It can't get louder. You played it, it's done. It's going to die away. The left hand can get louder. But the left hand's been soft this whole time. Very soft, I hope. So you can crescendo up, but don't go up more than about a moderately soft. So don't get loud. You want to hear, because it's the right hand that's going to be moderately loud. So you're soft. have to experiment with that. You're very soft, a little louder, moderately soft right there. You have to experiment with that. Speed-wise, Allegretto is between Moderato and Allegro. I call it the fun speed. It's how fast can you play these eighth notes. See, it's not the speed of the beat, it's the feel of the piece. It's somewhere in the fun. I also have a tendency to use a different fingering than they're using, because it's like on going from measures 3 and 4. I tend to want to use second little finger there, because I don't have to cross over the thumb. That's what I'm used to doing. They want you to do that. Whatever fingering you're using, stick with it. I may use a different fingering. That's because my fingering that I'm accustomed to is different. And I'm an old person and I don't change my habits very easily. So that's it. If you find musical phrases and musical sentences, feel free to lift up in the right hand between them. Just, it's like taking a breath. It helps to make it more musically, but you got to get to know it well enough that you're thinking about these. Actually, I think it's like every 4 measures or so is a musical phrase, and you can lift up in the right hand. Play the left hand. Well, there's different ways of playing the left hand, because you can play this left hand all connected. Or another way they used to do it would be if the notes are next to each other, they might connect them, not always, but might connect them. And if they're further than that, they'll disconnect them. Just lift, not staccato, just disconnect them. Well, that is staccato, but it's a long staccato. It's up to you, because that just makes it all the more complicated. If you want to try that, experiment with that. I mean, if you're going to repeat the first 2 lines, you don't want to play it the same way twice, so maybe you can change how you do some of the lifting up on different things. Experiment with that. I'd like to play this with you very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. We will do the repeat and the DC al fine and all that. I'm not going to do any dynamics, so I'll give us 3 counts. Let's just go over it slowly together. 1 and ready and go and.